Welcome back to We Sound Like Nerds, official podcast of that guy at work that keeps asking you if you've seen Stargate yet. I'm John.
This is Kyle.
And Jordan.
We don't have anything to talk about today. We
have a couple comments from Facebook.
We do have a couple comments for Facebook. We will jump on those probably after news, I'm thinking. Because, I mean, we do have news items. Nintendo Switch presentation happened this week. Scalebound was canceled. And, yeah, that's pretty much everything that I had. So we'll start with Nintendo Switch presentation. To
answer your question, no, I did not see anything about it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be no help in this, so I'll just be the moderator for you guys.
Sweet. So Nintendo Switch presentation happened. It was a thing. It was all over the Twitter sphere. And nothing about it really interests me. The console itself is interesting. The way that you can, take it on the road basically as a portable console. That's kind of neat.
It seems to have some versatility between being able to dock it and play it on a TV and then just take it wherever you need to.
Yeah. So Nintendo's been all about the gimmick ever since the Wii. They used to be more of a hardcore video game console designer with like the N64, terrible controller, obviously. But when they moved up to the GameCube, that was a solid competitor to the PS2 and the Xbox One. And it had a functional remote control that you could get used to playing with. It was probably the last modern looking controller that Nintendo came out with for a console.
Yeah.
And ever since, motion control, they became the kings of that. They've just been kind of doing the same thing with the Wii U and now the Nintendo Switch. But I don't know. Yeah, I guess the versatility of the console, that seems interesting. But for games, that's a pretty short list if you're looking for brand new IPs, or Nintendo is not a very good third-party supporter.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, they'll champion their Mario games and their Zelda games and, But looking at the release schedule, I think they only have like 5 Nintendo Switch games that are exclusive to the system.
Ones that hadn't been released somewhere else, like
right,
straight
or
to
for the Wii U,
yeah,
or 3DS. I think ARMS is a fighting game with everybody looks like Dalsham from Street Fighter.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw the trailer for it, I was like, couldn't really tell what type of game it was going to turn out to be. Yeah. But the actual gameplay, it didn't look too bad. I mean, it was fun. Sort of a weird twist on boxing.
Mario Odyssey. Or Super Mario Odyssey? I don't know how to...
Super Mario
Odyssey. They're putting Mario in the real world, it looks like. So, I don't know how that will work. But then again, everybody didn't think Super Mario Galaxy, where he's stuck to floating orbs out in outer space, would work. And that was actually... I played Super Mario Galaxy, I think 1. I don't know if I ever played 2. But I played that game to death because I never had a N64 growing up, so I never played, the 3D Mario games. So.
Oh, yeah.
And I never played Sunshine. I know a couple of my friends did, but...
Was that the one with the vacuum?
The water cannon.
Water cannon, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, the crappy Luigi Ghostbuster one was the one with the vacuum.
Yeah.
Which is horrible.
Yeah. Hey, there's a lot of fans of the Luigi Mansion series.
Hey, it's a Luigi.
He's the true hero. The Mario brothers.
The unsung hero.
He's had a lot of jobs, those brothers.
Yes.
You'd think plumbing would suit their needs, but they're Olympians.
I was going to say, it's a trade skill, It's...
They hang out with Sonic at the Olympics.
They sure do. Thank you for contributing to the episode, Jordan.
Yep.
So when I saw that, when I saw him in the city, all I wanted to see was him, punch a hooker and carjack somebody. That was all I wanted to see.
Terribly brilliant idea.
Yep.
But I guess from when we did watch the trailer, it starts out with him in what looks like the real world, but then it looks like in some points he's in the Mario world also.
Yeah.
So are you going to go back and forth do we think?
Well, having beaten the game already, yeah, you do go back.
Oh, it's been out already?
No, I haven't. No one's played it yet. I don't know.
Didn't you say that
how do you do that?
Some of the games that are being released were already released
in
2015 or something?
Yeah, that's the thing. For the release schedule, most of the games that are coming out for it have either been released on a previous Nintendo system like the Wii U, or have come out, for, multi-systems 2014 and 2015. I Am Setsuna was a big RPG. I think that came out on PS4 last year. Even the Zelda Breath of the Wild will be coming out on the Wii U alongside the Nintendo Switch.
Okay.
Same launch date, or?
Same launch date, I believe. And Nintendo Switch comes out March 3rd, 2017. So if you've got 299 buckaroonies, you can throw that down and get a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah. I mean, do we think that's a good price? I mean, obviously it's sold out of everywhere, so there's some kind of group out there, of people out there that wants it.
Whenever you see that, a console release is generally a pretty big thing. Usually they happen in the fall. They don't usually happen in the spring like this. $299, that's a competitive price point. Right now, I believe Xbox One and a PS4 you can both get for $249, being that it's a brand new system.
I think with a game, it might be $299 still, isn't it?
I don't know if the terabyte ones have gone down to $299 and the 500 gigabyte ones have gone to $250. I'm not sure. They usually throw in a digital game anyways with most consoles.
And that's for PS4 and Xbox. That's not for the
that's what I was.
Or the Nintendo Switch. The Nintendo Switch does not have much hardware in the ways of hardware inside of it.
Not much at all, actually.
How much storage does it have?
32 gigabytes.
Oh man. My phone has more than that.
And its system, yeah, exactly. Then that was one of the things people were saying is that, and its system stuff takes up some of that as well.
I don't know if the individual game cards will be holding most of the memory on them, and the system itself will just run off the game cards and not really, do anything with the system processing.
I think I did see an article that said Zelda was going to take up half the storage or something of the console.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
I don't know how much truth there is to that, but
it also supports the micro SD card, so you can offload crap onto that.
They have been
how that works.
They have been big supporters of micro SD, even back as early as the Wii U or the Wii, not the Wii U. You could have a micro SD card to expand the storage because there was not much in the way of storage if you were using it as a hardcore gaming console, which I don't believe most people do. I believe most fans of the Nintendo consoles, if they're not for a kid or a younger person, they're usually only playing Mario and Zelda on them, because third-party games are
few and far between.
Yeah, few and far between, and you're going to find them on other systems that have more in the way of storage and memory. So,
is Mario Party going to be a game that comes out? I always enjoyed a good Mario Party.
Mario Party, I would not be surprised. The last one that came out on the Wii U, and as far as I know, they're not dropping support for the Wii U. Nintendo likes to spread themselves out among different systems, so they probably won't drop support for that system soon. So if we do get another Mario Party, they will probably release it multi-platform.
So it looks like we have a 6.2-inch touchscreen capable of 720p. You can dock it and you can get the full 1080p out of it. Looks like the battery lasts, it says a maximum of around 6 hours, but playing Zelda will kick it down to 3 hours or so.
Right.
So I'm assuming the more graphically demanding, or I'm assuming if you were using more of the gyros in the things, it's going to be shorter and shorter. Yeah. So I don't know. I didn't find if you could play it while it's charging. I would only assume so, because if you can only play it an hour and a half to 3 hours at a time, that's kind of a drag.
Yeah, the docking station should make it act like a regular home console.
Oh, okay.
From what I saw during their press conference. So
sweet.
So that's interesting. I haven't played a Zelda game, I think, since Twilight Princess. There was Skyward Sword, and then there have been a bunch of mobile titles, but my love for Zelda, never really went past Ocarina of Time. I know every generation kind of has their Zelda. And there are a lot of fans of, Majora's Mask, which also, but ever since they went to the 3D Zeldas, I just haven't had time to sit down and play one. So, but they're pretty much all the same.
Yeah. Yeah, I was always a fan of The Link to the Past. That was sort of my last big hoorah with Zelda game.
That was on Super Nintendo.
Oh, yeah.
Jordan, you ever played any Zelda games?
Never played a Zelda game.
Played a Zelda game?
You showed me it. I think you showed me Ocarina of Time a couple times.
It's possible. The best Zelda game is actually Zelda Link's Awakening for the Game Boy. Mm-hmm. It was the first Game Boy Zelda. And as a kid, I liked it because it was one of my only games that I had for my Game Boy. But it was also... I didn't realize like everything that was going on in the story until, you know, I got older and I was like, oh my God, this is like Inception.
Oh, is it?
There's like dream layers and these nightmares that you're fighting for the final bosses in the dungeons and stuff. They're like, stop your quest. What you're going to do is going to kill everybody. Like, stop doing what you're doing.
So in the trailer for Zelda, I don't know if it's Ganon that's speaking, but somebody says something about something that happened 100 years ago. He's like, I'll show you what happened 100 years ago. So is this like a direct sequel? Are any of them direct sequels?
Oh, you have opened the can of worms. That is the Zelda timeline. Yeah. So I'll pull it up. For those of you at home that want to know, the Zelda timeline has caused much fan discussion.
Ooh.
Because the first Zelda game that came out on Nintendo is actually a storyline where, say you were playing Ocarina of Time and you died to Ganon during that journey, that the original Zelda would have happened.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so there's Zelda games that come out if Zelda beats Ganon. There are
So they basically have a way of saying canon for several different situations or scenarios?
Yeah, so let's see if I can pull it up here. Kotaku has a thing. I don't know if many people go to Kotaku, but... So the first game is Skyward Sword. We don't know where Breath of the Wild comes to place yet. Then the Minish Cap, then Four Swords, then Ocarina of Time. If the hero is successful and the Sacred Realm is protected, you get Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, and then Four Swords, Hyrule Adventure. If Ganondorf is sealed when you're a grown-up, you get the Wind Waker, Phantom Hourglass, and Spirit Tracks. If Zelda loses, or Link, if Link loses...
I didn't realize this was going to be a big thing.
It's a huge thing. If you lose to Ganon in Ocarina of Time, you get A Link to the Past, Oracle of Seasons and Oracle of Ages, Link's Awakening, Zelda, and then Legend of Zelda 2, Link. I guess the second one's just Link, isn't it?
That was one of the only ones that I had growing up for the regular Nintendo. Come to find out way later that it was just like a port of a different Japanese game that they basically threw Zelda on, similar to how Super Mario 2 worked. They just basically took a game that was already out there, changed some characters around, and said, there you go.
I think that's BS.
Really?
Yeah, I thought it was its own game. I thought
Zelda 2 was a make of a different game, because it's very unlike the original Zelda.
So I'm going to dumb down the podcast a little bit here, as usual. Why is it called Zelda if the main character is Link? Who is Zelda?
Zelda is the princess that you have to save.
In every game?
Yep, usually.
What, does she hang out with Princess Peach?
Yeah. There's a very...
it's a storyline anybody can really get behind.
Yeah.
So you don't need a whole lot of
It's one of those... I can't remember the term for it. Like classic stories that everybody relates to no matter where you're from. You know, the hero saving the damsel in distress. Very man world.
Paradigm? Good word.
Is she captured by the same person in every game?
Not always. And sometimes she's not captured. Sometimes she's a friend of his. Sometimes... I
think that's how the Into the Wild, or what was it called?
Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild?
Yeah.
I think that's how this one works, is that I don't think she necessarily is captured, because I think there were several scenes where they're talking to each other.
Well, so then who are you trying to save?
The world from usually evil forces, usually by a guy named Ganon, who's based off a pig demon guy from Japanese lore. That's why he looks like a pig.
So you're not always saving the princess. So
No.
it's just more often than not. That's what
More
the game's going.
More often than not, you're saving the world from whatever darkness Ganon is trying to unleash, and usually Princess Zelda might be needing to be saved every once in a while.
I did like the Breath of the Wild trailer. It was a really good trailer. One of the best I think I've seen in a while, like in terms of showing parts of the story without giving too much away. But it definitely had a very Princess Mononoke feel to it. Sort of the big vast areas, and especially when they started showing Ganon coming back as just like I think it just started as like a dark swirl of stuff and then kind of manifested.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's funny that they are advertising this as an open world Zelda game. They've all been.
I was gonna say, usually, yeah, even in the ones that I remember, it's just like, all right, you can pick a direction to start walking now.
That's what was big about Zelda.
Yeah.
From the very get-go.
It's like the Elder Scrolls games before theirs.
That was what was so revolutionary about Zelda, was you're dropped into a world and you're not given any like storyline. You had to figure out basically what you had to do in that first game, and it was all open world. So anyways, it's just one of those catchphrases that they throw around to make your game seem big. So So yeah, I looked it up. Link is a direct sequel to Zelda. It wasn't
the second one.
Yeah,
I know, like storyline wise, but I wasn't sure if it was made.
Oh, game engine wise, yeah.
Okay,
they wanted to make it like an RPG style. They wanted to go away from what they did with the top-down perspective.
I honestly don't remember where I heard that, and maybe I was projecting it from Mario. From Mario, yeah, I totally thought the second Zelda game was as well.
Totally understandable. And the games that came out on for the Philips CD. Have you ever seen those?
It sounds vaguely familiar.
Hand-drawn animation Zelda games that Nintendo doesn't.
Yep. Okay, I recall those.
Doesn't like to remember, but we do. Well, I do.
Yeah.
The Neo Geo system or something like that. Like back when that was a system.
Yeah, even older than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good, bad stuff. Good, bad stuff. And aside from that, like nothing else really happened in the news.
I did see it's not going to have, that hasn't been said anyways, if it's going to have connections to like Netflix. Wow, I went to an Eric Church concert last night. Let me throw that out there. So that is why my voice is cracking, because I sang along for 3 hours with the great Eric Church. Yeah. And I have been recovering all day, so that doesn't help, if you know what I mean.
So there was a game, they didn't have anything about it. It was called Steep. It looked like it might be some type of wingsuit glider game. Basically, it was just like a picture of a mountain with down in the corner, there's a little dude in a wingsuit. That was actually on Nintendo's main site. One called Rhyme. Once again, no information to it, but it was some, kind of pretty looking island scenes. Looked like a pretty sizable island. Lego City Undercover. That one looked like, pretty good. Got a farming simulator slated for that.
Heyo.
There was one called Snipper Clips. It was kind of I've seen games like this on mobile devices where it's sort of a geometry solving puzzle. Like, so this one, it looks like you have to either cut shapes out or build things to get shapes to work together, trying to solve puzzles. There's a Bomberman slated, but it looked the same as every other Bomberman.
Yeah. Does Steep look like this?
Oh, they did have video to it, huh?
No, this is from a stream that I did on my YouTube channel.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is this actually it?
Yeah.
Or was that a different or already released game?
It's already a released game.
Gotcha. Yeah. See, I didn't look into thinking that they were all going to be
footage.
You've shown me that.
I have.
Do you want to plug your YouTube channel?
No, I want to do that.
You should plug your YouTube channel.
No, that's all right. I'm not very proud of my YouTube channel. But if you know me, you know you can find me. Some good news. Jordan just pulled up final score. 3-2 Wild over the Blackhawks for NHL fans out there. With their win over Dallas last night, they became the top-rated team in the Western Conference.
Nice.
Tangent. Torrential.
That's so awesome.
Torrential downpour of tangents.
The Chiefs game was just starting when I left, and my brother and his wife were freaking out.
I always forget that you have an older brother.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I've got two other older brothers.
Younger brother?
Younger brother, younger sister.
Younger sister.
Right in the middle.
I don't like any of them.
It's currently 12-7 at halftime. Pittsburgh is up.
Ooh.
Sports.
That was as far
and that's our sports section.
I was going to say that's as far as my interest goes.
Back to Zelda talk.
We do sound like nerds for a reason.
Yeah. I don't like football. It's too violent.
I say as I turn on MMA and watch people pound the shit out of each other.
Yes, as the guy who plays Diablo and...
Diablo's not that violent.
You're constantly killing people or creatures or whatever.
We're saving them for the light. Amen.
So, on that topic, For Honor, the beta sign-up?
Yeah.
That is going on right now?
Yeah. For Honor, we talked about it last week. Hi, Laura.
It's our weekly Laura walkthrough section.
Say hi.
Hello.
Say hi. Hello. Oh, look at that. Say it again.
Hello.
The For Honor beta apparently had already started when we were talking about it. It started back January. It starts January 25th and 26th. And I think they started the open beta process back in December, middle of December.
We're not the most educated podcast for nothing, people.
This is half-assed commitment, as we said before. So yeah, I signed up. I don't know if I'll get in, but Jordan, did you sign up?
I didn't. As I said, I went to the concert. I had
been super busy.
A lot of friends come into town and stay with me. I didn't really have time to do anything this weekend.
I did tell you on Monday.
Well, some of us work 40 hours a week.
Busy week. Yeah, I work 40 hours a week.
You work 40 hours a night a week.
Yeah.
That can go in the bloopers.
So do we have anybody say anything about the beta?
I think it looks good, Kyle.
So this is the really refined hack and slash game.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll pull up a trailer when we're done so you can check it out.
I think it's ringing a bell now from these screenshots.
Something we missed about last week too, Conan O'Brien's Clueless Gamer skit series that he does on his show is becoming its own full episode show, like full 30-minute episodes on TBS.
Is it him?
I think it's him.
Okay, I wasn't sure if they'd pass that on to somebody else.
He'll bring celebrities on.
Nice.
And play games and make fun of them. And you saw this with Lip Sync Battle from The Tonight Show.
Oh yes,
that was a sketch on Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, and they liked it so much that I think it's on Spike, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it got picked up, and that show's been doing well. I've watched a couple of clips.
I'm imagining Carpool Karaoke is the next one to get its own show.
Yeah, probably.
How's that going to work as a show? Is he going to do the same game for a full 22 minutes plus 8 minutes of commercials?
You could. I mean, there are episodes of Clueless Gamer on like YouTube that are 15 to 18 minutes.
Okay. And that's probably with cutting out.
Yeah.
Throwing a few extra jokes between them.
Yep. And I know his show is going to a different format starting next year anyways for his normal late night show.
Next year isn't a full year from now?
They were planning, I think they're off right now. They don't have new episodes.
I never watch it, so.
So they might go, they haven't decided yet, but they might go to like a last week tonight where they'd just do one episode a week.
Oh, okay.
And be able to polish stuff more. I know he's done a lot with traveling since he moved to TBS. He did, an episode in Cuba and like an episode in Germany. And so, yeah, he likes getting out and about. And
vroom, vroom goes the party starter.
I don't think he's ever said that.
Actually, there was a commercial.
Damn it. In the year 2000.
I love that. That was one of my favorites.
Yes. Good stuff.
I like how they still do it even after the year 2000.
Yeah.
I did forget to mention that Minecraft would probably be the perfect platform. Is this new Nintendo Switch? I think for a Minecraft type game, something that isn't graphically challenging for it. It's got a very good basis for multiplayer. Yeah, I just thought that was like the perfect platform for a Minecraft type game.
Thanks.
Sit down and play it, or you can take it on the go. That was when I was in here. I was like, oh shit!
Thanks, buddy.
Taking us back to 5 minutes ago. The good old days.
Disney came out with a statement saying, or Lucasfilm did, one of the two, said there have been rumors that we're going to use Carrie Fisher's likeness in future Star Wars movies, and we're just going to put the kibosh on that, and we're not doing that. So as of now, they've officially stated that they're not looking to use her likeness in episode 8 or in episode 9, because she is in episode 8. She finished shooting, so future movies will not have a digital Carrie Fisher in them.
Do we think they'll use some kind of digital in episode 8 though, and they'll have to write in a way that she is killed off?
They could write in a way she's killed off, but from what I got out of that statement was future movies will not use a digital version of Carrie Fisher. So, maybe they show a ship entering hyperspace saying, she went on a mission looking for something, but they don't actually show her herself. But who knows? No one's seen episode 8 yet, and we're still waiting for that teaser trailer to come out, so.
Totally sad now.
Sorry.
Going back to the first couple of things you mentioned in the news, did you have anything more to say about the game that was canceled from Xbox?
Oh, Scalebound? Yeah, Scalebound was canceled. Everybody's in a tizzy because is Microsoft giving up on the consoles? They came out with...
That was a Microsoft game?
That was a Microsoft exclusive.
As in Xbox, maybe? Going away?
Yeah, because they've had a bunch of games slated for 2016 get pushed back or now canceled. Scalebound was slated for 2016, got pushed back. There's a lot of weird stuff that happened there because the developers were overworked, so they went on vacation, like a big number of the team. When they came back, Microsoft said the game was canceled.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't...
Surprise.
Yeah, don't know
what you had a good vacation because you no longer have a job.
And Crackdown 3 got pushed back. Halo Wars 2 got pushed back. Sea of Thieves got pushed back. And not to fan the flames of fanboyism, but you look at the PlayStation exclusives and release schedule, and I think they had 34 games come out in 2016.
Whoa. For
not just exclusives, but all other games as well, and none of those got pushed back. So Sony's been really kind of killing it with the PS4 since they didn't do as well with the PS3 because Microsoft had a 2-year head start on the PS3. So yeah, so some people are worried that with a limited console exclusive release slate, if you lose games from that, what are your hardcore fans supposed to get excited about that they can't play on the competitor system? For me, console we've got you don't have is it doesn't really matter. I think that's going the way of the dodo bird anyways. At least it should. In a perfect utopia, you should be able to play whatever game you want on whatever system you have. Damn them. Damn them all.
You know what this all means, Kyle.
What is it?
It's time to hop off the Xbox bandwagon.
Ooh. Yeah.
But I've got so much Xbox crap.
You do.
I do. So.
I still have Xbox crap.
Do you?
Yeah.
I've still got a box with all my old systems in it, so I have no hesitation to put the one on top of those.
That's a pretty big box.
It is a big box.
They just, and when didn't the one just come out?
Yeah, but that's
somewhat recently.
Well,
14 was it?
Yeah,
was it 2 years ago? 3 whatever years ago already.
Yep. So, and they made that kind of And Sony and Microsoft came out with that, PS 4.5 and the Xbox 1.2 with the slim versions. The PS4 Pro, it's not really that much better than a base system. It has some other features. Normally they would just roll that out in, like the PS3, I think had 4 or 5 different models through its lifespan. That would have normally just been a model change. It wouldn't have been a whole new rollout for a new system. So with how fast computers advance themselves in a year, obviously to remain graphically competitive, they'd have to do that. So you said that you have a bunch of old consoles in a box in your house. On our Facebook page, facebook.com/wesoundlikenerds, I had sent out the rallying cry to our people who follow us on Facebook. Drive the episode, tell us what you want us to talk about. And Nick Amen had wanted to know if a Raspberry Pi is worth it.
I fear to even ask, what is a Raspberry Pi?
So a Raspberry Pi is basically a computer chip. It's like a motherboard where you can mod it so it can play basically like a list of like 32 or 34 different systems on one system. So you could play like Atari games, you could play regular Nintendo, you could play Sega, you could play PS1, play PS2, a bunch of different systems. And my uncle, Jason, had a modded Xbox way back in the day, and we could play games like that. We could play Xbox games, we could play Super Nintendo, Sega, regular Nintendo. He had I want to say 500, 600 games on his Xbox.
Nice.
And you could just load them up from a different... And he spent a lot of time modding. So I guess my answer to Nick is do it if you have a desire to get into modding and if you're tech savvy enough to do it. Otherwise, there are other ways, simpler ways to play old games that, aren't technically legal, but neither is, modding all of the ROMs and stuff into the Raspberry Pi to play. So, yeah, I don't know. For me, do what you like to do, as long as you're not going to end up in jail for that long for it.
So now, is all you need is this motherboard, or do you need a system to...
You need a motherboard, you need a couple other things like a USB keyboard and, something to display the game on.
So if you know what you're doing, it's easy enough to just build it yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And you can buy the parts online, and there's, kits that you can buy, full Raspberry Pi, complete kit to get you started.
Sweet.
That you can find out there on the eBays and that sort of thing. It doesn't have any support, so if you screw it up, you'll have to, go on different message boards to find a way to fix it. That also goes back to our nostalgia for old games. I play, or not seriously, not. Remember when me and you worked together, Kyle, and I talked about Project 99 for EverQuest?
Yes.
And they had private servers of EverQuest back when it first came out. Private servers that you could download and join up and play an old game, old, one of the first MMOs that were out there. It
was early 2000s, wasn't it? Or
yeah, in 1999.
Oh, obviously, 99.
And that was my first foray into the MMO world. And then after that was World of Warcraft. And I played both Project 99 and World of Warcraft on private servers because the companies that own those games no longer support the original versions of those games. World of Warcraft kind of stopped being good around 2000. It was 2008, 2009 when Wrath of the Lich King came out. The second expansion to the game. Because after that, a lot of stuff happened. So, being nostalgic for games, I completely understand because I've always wanted to go back. But the thing about going back with an MMO is you don't have the same experience that you did when you first played. Because with World of Warcraft, I was in a raiding guild that was a progression guild. So we worked every weekend trying to get the next boss because he had to work with a team of 25 people. 25 people together. I met people from Brazil, from Germany, all over the world. I didn't stay in touch with them, but while I was playing the game, like that was how I, socialized with a bunch of people. Anyways, nostalgia's nice, but play a game that you've been nostalgic for more than an hour, and you'll start to be like, I could be doing something else.
Yep. Be like, I remember why I don't play this anymore.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, a lot of the games that I played were just sports games. So, I mean, I got a new one every year. You don't really get nostalgic for the old one because you got new roster. I mean, players change teams, whatever. Can't really get nostalgic for those.
You ever play like NHL 94 or 93 on like Super Nintendo or Sega?
No, I played Madden 95 on Super Nintendo like it was going out of style.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I'd probably throw that in. My parents still have the Super Nintendo. Trip
down memory lane.
Yeah, it is.
I still remember the goal horn sound from NHL 94. Great time. That was a tangent that has no end. Actually, an immediate end. That is where that tangent ended. Kenneth Trainer commented on the Facebook, and we did the Nintendo talk. What can Marvel do better on TV and DC do better on movies? Personally, Marvel is technically doing okay on TV if you consider Netflix a TV network.
True.
Yeah. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is another story, but I've heard that it's better than it was back in the first and second seasons because now they have Ghost Rider.
Oh, really?
On the show, it's not it's not Nicolas Cage's Ghost Runner. It's the Ghost Rider. It's the third one. He's a Hispanic kid. Name is slipping past me right now. And he drives a car. What? Doesn't drive a motorcycle.
That's not really riding.
Oh.
He doesn't really fit the name.
He sits on the top while it drives itself.
Yeah, so...
It's like, I'm the literal Ghost Rider.
I ride in the seat as I drive a car. But they've been able to do more with that budget to make him look cool. So, kudos to them.
What was wrong with that show when it started that everyone didn't like?
I think they thought we were going to get miniature of Marvel movies every week. It's a serialized drama. And instead of, miniature Iron Man, miniature Captain America stories every week, we got, a discount Alias, which ABC also did.
Okay.
It's the first real heavy hitter that they had from the cinematic universe, aside from Coulson, who's in that show. You remember Coulson from the...
Did they bring him back to life for that?
They brought him back to life, which is also confusing because he has not returned to the film universe.
Yeah.
He is alive in the TV universe. So...
Who's Coulson?
Have you seen the first Avengers movie?
A long time ago.
Coulson was the guy that
Loki killed.
Got them all together.
Okay. I was going to look him up. See if I recognize him.
It'll just go to voicemail. She won't know.
She'll know. Moms always know.
She's going to listen to this and...
He definitely hung up on me. I don't know why that was my mom voice for your mom. I've never met your mom. She seems like a sweet lady.
I think you have.
I don't think I have. You looking up Coulson's picture?
Oh, how can
we were
Marvel
talking about
on TV?
You were saying it was getting better when they had, the first heavy hitter was Coulson.
The first heavy hitter that they had was what's her face from Thor?
Natalie Portman.
So now it's changing. It wasn't Coulson.
No, I said aside from Coulson.
He was in it from the beginning. I tried watching the first 2 episodes and it didn't take me. So I was like, gave up on it. Maybe too quickly, but...
I can never remember her name. Jamie Alexander.
Oh, yes. One of the Asgardians.
She plays Sif. She's part of the Heroes 4. Heroes 5. That's the team that's always following Thor around.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Basically just Asgardians.
Yeah. So she was the first real heavy hitter that they had on the show aside from Coulson. And that's basically it. Like, they've been...
Everybody else they've introduced in show as opposed to bringing somebody in.
Right. Which is tough to do on a network show. You have to pay them a lot of money, so...
Especially if all your viewers are wanting to just see, like, Mark Ruffalo or Robert Downey Jr. or somebody.
Yeah, that's difficult to do.
Yep.
And ABC will be doing The Inhumans now as a TV show instead of a movie. And we don't know if that'll be on Netflix or... No, it will be on regular. We talked about it a couple weeks back. It's the first show that they'll do on IMAX.
Oh, yes. I recall you saying that.
So maybe they'll do better there. The DC question is easier and more difficult to answer. DC does not have... Well, they didn't until they hired a Jeff Loeb. But they did not have a Kevin Feige at DC. This is a writer? This is on the production side.
Oh, okay.
Kevin Feige is behind basically the Marvel MCU. He looks like Joss Whedon.
He does look a little Whedonish.
Yes. So the films he's produced have a combined worldwide box office gross of over $10 billion. So DC started their cinematic universe with Man of Steel retroactively. I don't think originally they thought it was going to be the start of a cinematic universe, but they decided Marvel's making so much money, we want money. Let's do this. And they decided to put
Zack Snyder.
They basically put Zack Snyder at the helm of the DC cinematic universe. And Zack Snyder is not somebody that has intimate knowledge of all of the different properties that DC has, in my opinion, based on how he has treated Superman so far and Batman so far. It's especially Batman with Batman versus Superman. They turned Batman into a murderer, which, yes, he has murdered in the comics. Not like we saw in Batman versus Superman, but it's a different type of take on the character. That's not what people want. That is a cool way to spin it, but to bring in all the people that Marvel has, you don't have to have super serious all the time, which Zack Snyder does to a T. He does brooding very well. 300 half naked dudes brooding on the side of a cliff. Watchmen, a bunch of brooding, weird superheroes for 2.5 hours.
Even the sex scenes are brooding.
Yeah, very brooding. Also, they do it to Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah.
In The Watchmen?
In The Watchmen.
It's been that long since I've seen it, but that is a good song to do it too.
I love The Watchmen, by the way. Zack Snyder did very well with that. I know a lot of people who liked, actually, kind of ironically, a lot of people didn't like The Watchmen because it wasn't like the graphic novel Watchmen.
Having never read it, I did enjoy the movie.
Yeah. It's The Incredibles for adults, basically.
Oh, yeah.
They're superheroes that can't be superheroes anymore, so they go into hiding. And, then they come out of it, and there's a bunch of blue dick everywhere.
Except gratuitous blue dick.
So much blue dick in that movie. Marvel, from the get-go, they had Kevin Feige. And
Feige, I would believe.
It's Kevin Feige.
Okay, but I know people with that last name that is spelled exactly like that, and they say Feige.
Oh, well, everybody calls him Feige that I know. It even says on Wikipedia, Feige.
I'm going to call him Feig, just because.
Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige.
You just said it says Feige.
Yeah, on Wikipedia.
So I would be right.
You would be, but you're wrong in this instance.
Let's call him up.
I have his number. Hold on.
You know it can pick up your...
Yeah, I know.
Just go Google pronounce Feige.
Pronounce.
Or, you could just turn it off.
His name. But how will I know if I'm...
How do blind people text? Is there Brit?
There's voice to text.
That's true. Back with the old, when you actually had either a pad or buttons to push, it was always easier.
Other people say it's Feige,
I don't think that's it.
And other people say it's Feige.
And I say it's Feige.
Yeah.
And I know people with that last name, so.
I know people with that last name too. Kevin Feige. So there. So they had him in place from the beginning, and he took a look at the properties that they could use, and they planned out, we're going to do a
10-year span of things.
Yeah, they planned it out from the beginning. They said origin story, team-up movie. Sequel.
Second movie.
Team-up movie. Now that we're in phase 3, we'll start introducing new heroes like Ant-Man and Doctor Strange. Then we'll have a, Infinity War, plan that out. Let's do the Infinity War line because those are the characters that we have. More or less, it seems like DC was like, all right, we need to catch up. So let's do Batman versus Superman.
Let's do our team story first.
First, and then we'll do origin movies after that.
With the exception of Man versus Steel, which was before Batman Superman.
Yes.
So Suicide Squad would be an origin story, you're saying?
I think that's like basically, once again, jumping into a team movie.
That's like a team.
That's what I was.
It's a team movie of B-list, like C-list, maybe even D-list supervillains.
Yeah, short of Harley Quinn. Like, she was like, but not being big into DC, she was the only one I knew from that.
Right. Well, you knew Joker.
Well, yeah, but like, he wasn't really.
I've never seen it, but then wasn't the Joker like barely in it after they built up so much of it being Jared Leto?
Yes, they cut out a bunch of his stuff, and Jared Leto wasn't that happy about it afterwards.
Because isn't there talk of him possibly breaking his contract or something, or not coming back?
Oh, there's rumors.
Or was that just rumors?
Always rumors like that when a movie doesn't do as well as, and that's the thing, it did well, but it wasn't good. So, I don't know. What can DC do better? Now that they have Jeff Loeb in place, who has been a writer on the DC comics for a long time, hopefully they can kind of steer the ship correctly. They backed off Snyder's roles from extra movies down the line. He is doing the first Justice League movie.
Oh, okay.
Not Dawn of Justice, but the first one coming down the slate. But you hear troubles of the actor from The Flash.
The TV show?
No, the movie.
Oh, okay.
Their director, I think they've gone through 3 directors now.
Ooh.
And production's supposed to start pretty soon. There have been, numerous issues with where they want to drive this cinematic universe. Marvel they crank out 2 movies a year like clockwork. They're always palatable.
Didn't we even figure out last week they're doing 3 this year?
Yeah.
Because there's Thor, there's...
Spider-Man Homecoming's not technically theirs.
Guardian. That's true.
Yeah.
So
okay.
What Marvel could do better with film, I know that wasn't really the question, but you need to kill a character that's not a supporting cast member. They killed Coulson in Avengers, but they brought him back in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
How did they explain him coming back? Sorry to
I never saw that.
Okay.
Yeah. If anyone knows, let us know on Facebook.com/We Sound Like Nerds so we can sound even more nerdy. And then they killed Quicksilver in Avengers 2.
Now, was he going to be part of the Inhumans? Wasn't he supposed to be in the Inhumans?
He marries an Inhuman in the comic books.
Oh, okay.
It really bums me out because Quicksilver is one of my favorite characters from the Marvel Universe. Inhales some, things called Terrigen mists. A couple years ago in the comic books, he did this. And it enhanced his powers. So he started going so fast, he was, slipping through time.
Oh.
And he almost went so fast that, no one knows where he is now because he just started moving so fast that he couldn't slow down. Huh. So for him to get killed off the way he did in Avengers 2 was kind of a bummer because I would have preferred Hawkeye after all the development we got with Hawkeye's character. But he definitely redeems himself in Civil War, so.
And Jeremy Renner is one of my favorite actors, so that would have bummed me out if they would have killed him off.
Jordan says no.
I like The Hurt Locker. I actually just watched that one today, so I'm a big Renner fan as well.
The Town.
For the first time?
No, it was on. I was like, wow, I'm watching it.
Yes.
The Town is one of my favorite movies.
Oh, good movie.
Ben Affleck.
Mm-hmm.
Batman and Hawkeye.
Blake Lively.
Is she a hooker in that movie, or is she a stripper?
I don't think she...
Or is she
I think she was just a woman of low repute.
Or is she just
I think
Boston trash?
Boston strang.
Boston strang.
Even
we could be in that.
STD's a strang.
We could be in that movie. In that.
So going back to what got you on that topic is, remind me again how Quicksilver's killed off in the Avengers.
He is shot.
While he's running?
He actually saves Hawkeye. He saves Hawkeye saving a child. Like, Hawkeye goes to save the kid, doesn't end up getting to cover, and Quicksilver comes in and eats the bullets. Or is a body shield.
I gotta watch these movies more than once.
And he says, didn't see that coming. Because that was a running joke. Yeah. He kept hurting Hawkeye throughout the movie. And he's like, didn't see that coming?
One thing I'd like to see between both Marvel and DC is continuity between characters. So I know, like we were saying before, there's Disney and there's Fox in terms of Marvel. Mm-hmm. So in the X-Men movies, we've got, I don't remember who the kid is that plays Quicksilver.
Yes.
But I like his Quicksilver a lot better. Like the very kind of like, whatever kind of attitude.
Do we like him more because we've gotten more of him?
That's a very possible thing.
He does have a cool scene in Age of Apocalypse.
I did watch it once, but which scene?
Where he saves everybody from the mansion.
Oh, yes, that's right.
That one scene that he has in the movie. And
I tried to scrub that from memory, that movie.
See, the only problem with the X-Men version of Quicksilver for the films is he's too powerful. He would be able to solve both movies' problems if they just brought him along.
It's like, hang on, guys, I'll take care of this.
So is that another deal of the Fox released his rights somehow so that he could be in the Avengers?
Well, he technically appeared
because that character was basically more in the past storylines. Like the first one was not the First Class. Well, when did they have Quicksilver the first time in the X-Men movies?
In the movies?
Yeah.
Days of Future Past.
Days of Future Past. There you go. Couldn't remember the subtitle of that one. So his seemed to be more slightly in the past roles, like in the past of present time. Because even Apocalypse is an older one, isn't it? It takes place earlier in the time frame. I think. I could be mistaken.
Unlike your main characters like Wolverine and Cyclops, Iron Man, Quicksilver is owned by both studios. Same with Scarlet Witch. For some reason, since he's got such strong ties to the Avengers comic books, those rights are really up in the air because he also appears in the X-Men comic books as well. So basically, short answer, both studios own the rights to that character.
So X-Men gets him on the weekdays and Avengers get him on the weekends?
Well, Avengers decided to disown him. So
you can have him full time. We don't want him anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. Not completely off topic because it included Quicksilver and Elizabeth Olsen's character in the Marvel Universe. What's her name? Is it Scarlet Witch? Mm-hmm. Okay. Captain America, Winter Soldier was on the other day. Nothing else was on, so I watched that. And the ending teaser clip of that one is them looking at, it's Loki's staff, and then they walk in and see the twins or whatever. That just made me think of aren't they like collecting the stones or something?
The Infinity Stones.
So the big purple guy that we saw way back in wasn't that early on in the teasers?
Thanos?
Yeah. He's going to be the main villain in Infinity War?
Yes.
But we haven't seen anything of him in a while?
Well, he was in Guardians. He actually had scenes in Guardians.
God, I really need to watch these movies more
early
than
on
once.
When he was talking to the Destroyer, or whatever, I forget the guy's name who has the hammer.
Ronan the Accuser.
I didn't know when Thanos was going to show back up, I really haven't. Have they talked about the stones recently? Do we know where they are?
When they bring Vision to life, they basically talk about the
Mind Stone.
Mind Stone. Yep.
So he's got a stone in him.
So he's got one.
The Guardians have given one to Nova. Yeah.
Nova Core.
Nova Core. That's what it is.
And that's the power gem.
Yeah, I think so.
Whatever gem they had.
And then there's one in Loki's staff, or not?
Was that the Mind Gem?
That was the one that they put in Vision.
Vision. Okay.
Yep. The Tesseract was one. The cube.
Okay. Yep. That's right.
And where's that?
I wasn't sure if that one had gotten.
That one is in Asgard. Thor's place.
Okay.
There was also another stone in Thor: The Dark World.
See, I've never seen the Thor movies.
And that is also in Asgard.
Okay. So is something big going to happen in the next Thor movie with one of those stones probably, are we thinking? Yeah. If not both of them?
So we've seen 4 of the 5 so far?
I believe
there is 5, right? 'Cause I think the gauntlet that he had.
Yep.
So we don't know where the 5th one is at this point?
Unless it was brought up in Doctor Strange, which we haven't seen. That's why I don't know how much of it.
You haven't even seen Doctor Strange?
I don't get to go to movies, man.
It's got to sneak out to go see Star Wars movies.
Is there a...
But I'm assuming the Infinity War is where Thanos is going to make his big debut. I don't know if...
But they're going to split it into 2. Yeah. Are those going to come up back to back? Or are they going to have other Marvel movies in between the 2?
Originally, there's 6 Infinity Stones.
Oh, is there?
Yeah. Because there's one for the middle of the glove.
Ah.
The Time Stone is in Doctor Strange.
So is Doctor Strange going to show up in Avengers?
Yes. If they originally were going to be Infinity War Part 1 and Part 2, then if Avengers 4 is going to be its own movie. So it might not actually have anything to do with the Infinity War.
Really? Wait, so don't we only have 2 Avenger movies right now?
Is Avengers 3 going to be the...
What's Avengers 3 again?
Avengers 3 is Infinity War.
Oh, so you're saying, so there's going to be 5 there's not going to be an event or an Infinity War Part 2 now.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that title's just been taken off.
Okay.
Basically, my thoughts are they'll probably kill off Tony Stark or somebody big leading into Avengers 4. Oof. Because basically Doctor Strange will probably take the place as team leader that Tony Stark was.
Okay.
And with all of the drama we got at the end of Civil War, the Avengers aren't really a cohesive team right now. Guardians will come out, and then we'll also have, we'll have Spider-Man and Thor Ragnarok, and none of those will really. I don't expect any of those to bring that team back together.
Yeah, because Guardians
takes place really far
yeah,
away.
So that won't involve any of them.
Yeah.
But, so back to one of my original questions was, do we think something will happen with one of the stones in the Thor movie?
Yeah, more than likely.
It'll be taken. Will Thanos show up, do we think?
I don't know.
Because if he's in Guardians, how does he get from... Are the Guardians going to show up in the Avengers?
Yes. Basically everybody from the MCU is going to be showing up to fight Thanos because he's that big of a bad.
So those are going to be some big movies.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty freaking sweet.
What's going to come out in between Avengers 3 and 4 then, now that they're not both Infinity War?
I believe Black Panther's slated in there between those 2 movies.
I thought that one was coming out.
That one's coming out in 2018. Because when we went through the whole list last time, and Avengers wasn't on the list of me reading through them, I don't think. Was it?
I don't think Panther was either, though.
No, I know Panther was.
Oh, it was?
I want to say Panther might be one of the first ones coming out next year.
Yeah, Black Panther, Infinity War, Ant-Man, Captain Marvel, and then Avengers 4. So there will be 2 movies between the
Captain Marvel and what?
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, so Black Panther's right after Thor.
Yep.
And then we get the Avengers May of next year.
Yep.
Ant-Man and the Wasp. And we don't think Thor is going to do anything. So Infinity War is going to be where we're going to find out what happens between Captain America and Iron Man, you think?
Yeah,
we won't
probably.
find out before then.
Unless Black Panther includes them in, but I feel like Black Panther will be more of an origin story.
And because I don't think they would want something that big to take place in one of their lesser characters' origin stories.
Yeah. And really, we've been introduced to Black Panther already.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it'll be a true
origin story.
Because that's where Civil War left off, right? They all went to Wakanda, that's what it is.
Yeah, where Black Panther lives. And, I mean, they didn't all go, but
All
Captain
the
and Bucky
people
did.
who were...
Yeah.
Was it just Captain and Bucky?
Well, we're not sure, because those are the only people we see there.
Yeah.
And all the other people might just be on the run. So...
Because Bucky goes into
surgery.
freeze or whatever.
Oh, yes.
And Captain America and Black Panther are looking out.
That's a pretty cool level in Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2.
Is that going to be a weekly occurrence now?
I bring up Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2, probably. It's a recurring thing. Thanks to all of our listeners every week that we have.
If they stick with us through this one where we went all over the board, we're there.
I think we kept the ship on course.
We were a little unsure on how long it was going to be, but I think we've dragged this out pretty far.
We have. I noticed that the last two episodes have been right at the 104 mark.
Ooh, nice.
So, and we're at 121, but we had a lot of silences, so I'll probably cut this back down.
Yep.
So we'll have to cut it down. I'll have to probably cut out a lot because we're almost out of storage space for this month. So we'll have to figure it out. But now it's time for our favorite segment that we forgot about last week because it's just at the top of everybody's mind. But Nerd Out. What are you guys nerding out about? I'll go first because I'm rude. But I got a computer up and running, so I've been playing some old Steam games. And I recently re-downloaded Unreal Tournament 99. Ooh, way back in the day, talking about stuff we're nostalgic for. And that game, I think it keeps up. You can play with bots. And that was the first social game I remember playing at LAN centers with my friends was Unreal Tournament, and then it was Counter-Strike, and then it was Unreal Tournament, then it was Counter-Strike. And that was basically all we did. Until Halo came out. Unreal Tournament and Overwatch still.
I have actually kind of gotten into this show called Taboo. I don't know if you've seen any of these. I think it's just regular FX.
Tom Hardy?
Yeah. Sweet. Yeah. And it's like early 1800s, 1815, I think, something like that. It really surprised me because it's on before 10. It's on FX, and they drop F-bombs, and they don't shy away from throwing the N-word out there.
See, that's why I thought it was on FXX. But
yeah, that's what I thought too, is that, something like that. But it's got a good sort of paranormal twist going into it. Some sort of creepy witchcraft, I guess. I'm not exactly sure. They haven't. It's only been the first episode. I think it's on Tuesdays, so haven't gotten to the second one yet.
It was a long weekend. As I mentioned, I went to the concert over the weekend. I had a couple friends in town. So I got back into the multiplayer game. Couldn't play Farming Simulator. So I got back into Call of Duty. I mean, not enough to where I'm going to want to go out and buy Infinity or no.
Infinite Warfare.
Infinite. Yeah, see, we talked about Avengers.
Yeah.
And I got mixed up.
Infinite Warfare. Did you get the version that has the remastered Modern Warfare?
No, I got Black Ops 3 with my PS4 originally. Yeah. So that we just were playing that. I suck at it. I never played it enough to get good at it.
That's all right.
But yeah, that's what I played quite a bit of that over the weekend. We were hanging out. That's what I'm bringing to the table this week.
Sweet.
I don't know why you make me go last. I always do really bad in this section. Because I don't.
It was beautiful.
I don't nerd out on anything.
It was really good. You nerd out on stuff. You just haven't nerded out on
just not interesting stuff.
Well, no, it's just been a long time since you've nerded out on something. Like back when you were watching Dexter,
Oh, yeah, that would have been perfect when we were working together and...
You're like, man, the show's so good, thank you.
Yeah, those first 4 seasons, man, I would have been talking off the wall.
Top-notch television there.
But, after that, it just goes downhill.
That's the antithesis of nerding out. It's like something that somebody wouldn't really think is cool, and you think it's cool, and other people think it's cool. It's just like that's...
You just didn't know it was cool. It's cool.
You are the personification of this show right now, man.
Yeah, like your love for Farming Simulator. Some people might knock it, but that is nerdy. That's your nerdy. And we embrace...
That was very Deadpool right there. I don't know why. It was that's nerdy, and that's your nerdy.
We embrace that here on the show.
And for a callback, the reason I got into Farming Simulator was from our good friend Nick Amon.
Oh,
on
wow.
Facebook.
It all comes full circle. If you want to get in contact with the show, you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/WeSoundLikeNerds. You can contact us on Twitter at WSLN Podcast. That's We Sound Like Nerds Podcast. Using the hashtag We Sound Like Nerds. We're also on Patreon. Patreon.com/WeSoundLikeNerds. For We Sound Like Nerds, I am John.
This is Kyle.
And I'm Jordan.
All right. We'll talk to you guys next week. Nerd out.
So I'm going to dumb down the podcast a little bit here.
Console exclusivity. Console exclusivity.
Exclusivity.
Exclusivity. Console exclusivity. It still doesn't sound right.
Sounds better than what you were doing.
Cameo.
You do what I tell you.
We do have guests once in a while.
You're going to pay for that one later. You know that, right?
I already have. That couch is looking mighty comfortable. Stop playing footsie with me.
You play with
what,
me, man.
You started
my toes
it?
Are cool.
No, you keep covering up my toes. It's fine. It's fine.
I don't know what Stargate is.
It's a show on Sci-Fi.
Started as a movie, very long. Yeah.
I don't think my TV's ever been on Wi-Fi. On Sci-Fi.
Sci-Fi. Welcome back to We Sound Like Nerds, official podcast of that guy at work that keeps asking you if you've seen the director's cut of Judge Dredd. I'm John. God damn it, Kyle.
You gotta tell me what you're gonna say first so I can brace for it, man. So when I saw that, I saw him in the city. All I wanted to see was him, punch a hooker and carjack somebody. That was all I wanted to see.